Welcome to Deep Fact, where we dive deep into the most fascinating and unusual events from history. Today, we're exploring one of the strangest disasters in American history, the Great Boston Molasses Flood of 1919. It may sound unbelievable, but this catastrophe left an unforgettable mark on Boston and changed how we approach safety and accountability. On January 15, 1919, in Boston's North End, a giant steel tank holding over 2.3 million gallons of molasses exploded without warning. The tank, 50 feet tall and 90 feet in diameter, was owned by the United States Industrial Alcohol Company, which used molasses to produce alcohol for industrial purposes. The molasses came from the Caribbean and was processed for making rum and munitions. The tank stood near homes and busy streets, right in the heart of a bustling neighborhood. From the start, the molasses tank was flawed. Locals and workers often noticed that the tank leaked, with molasses oozing from its seams. Instead of fixing the problem, the company simply painted the tank brown to hide the leaks. But on that unusually warm January day, after several cold winter days, the pressure inside the tank built up. The steel walls couldn't handle the strain, and the entire structure collapsed. Without warning, a massive wave of molasses, moving at an estimated 35 miles per hour, surged through the streets. The molasses, which formed a 25-foot-high wave, wiped out everything in its path. Buildings were leveled, vehicles overturned, and the molasses even knocked a train off its tracks. The sheer force of the flood was enough to rip homes from their foundations. The disaster claimed 21 lives and more than 150 people were injured. Some victims were drowned by the flood, while others suffocated, trapped in the thick, sticky substance. The flood didn't spare animals either. Many horses, essential for daily work in the early 1900s, were trapped and died. For those caught in the flood, there was little chance of escape. Once in the molasses, it was nearly impossible to move. The cleanup was extremely difficult. The molasses, once it cooled, became thick and solidified in the streets. Rescue workers waded through waist-deep molasses to search for survivors. The sticky mess hardened quickly, making it hard to remove debris and locate victims. It took weeks to fully clear the streets of molasses. Even months later, traces of molasses could still be found on buildings, and locals claimed that the smell lingered for years. The Great Molasses Flood wasn't just a disaster for the city. It was also a legal and corporate crisis. The families of the victims and many others filed lawsuits against the United States Industrial Alcohol Company, accusing them of negligence in building such a faulty tank. The legal battle stretched on for 6 years, one of the longest cases in Massachusetts history. Eventually, the company was found responsible for the disaster and had to pay damages. Each victim's family received around $7,000, the equivalent of about $100,000 today. This event marked a significant moment in corporate responsibility. It showed that companies could be held accountable for negligence, and it led to stricter safety regulations for large-scale industrial projects. The flood became a case study in industrial safety and helped pave the way for stronger oversight to prevent similar disasters from happening in the future. Even now, over 100 years later, the Great Molasses Flood is remembered as one of the strangest and most tragic events in American history. A small plaque in Boston's North End commemorates the disaster, serving as a reminder of the lives lost and the importance of ensuring safety in industrial projects. The flood may seem like an unusual footnote in history, but its legacy still resonates, with lessons about the risks of cutting corners and the value of human life over profit. The Great Boston Molasses Flood is a remarkable chapter in history, showing that even the most unexpected events can have a lasting impact. It stands as a cautionary tale about the consequences of corporate negligence and the importance of proper safety measures. Thank you for watching Deep Fact. If you enjoyed learning about this incredible story and want to explore more fascinating historical events, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications. Let us know in the comments what other strange or forgotten moments in history you'd like to see next. Stay curious, and see you in the next episode.